Inspector Jim Shenoy speaking. March 15, 2024. You know, they still laugh at me at the station. Ghost Inspector Shenoy, they call me. Let them laugh. I've got maybe 6 months left, and I'm not spending them pretending I don't see what I see. This case, this one came to me in 1997. The Kapoor Mansion on Old Mill Road. You know the one? If you're from the city, you have heard the stories. 3 stories of colonial architecture left to rot after independence. Gardens gone wild, windows like dead eyes. For 40 years, it sat silent, empty. Then suddenly, in the summer of 97, the complaints started pouring in. Every night, at 11 o'clock sharp, the house would come alive. Music, film songs from the 50s, laughter, the clink of glasses, voice talking over each other the way people do at parties. One neighbor swore he heard someone singing Mera Naam Joker. Another heard a woman's high-pitched giggle, the kind that cuts through a crowd. And then, just past midnight, it would all stop, like someone had pulled a plug. The local Thana sent a constable the first few nights. He found nothing. Empty rooms, dust thick as carpet, no footprints. But he heard it too, standing outside at 11 o'clock in the night. He heard the party in full swing. Went inside, and silence. That's when they sent it to me, the ghost inspector. Not now, please. I'm getting to it. Just be patient. I went on a Thursday. Brought my notebook, my torch, and something else. Something I don't usually talk about. A sensitivity. A way of seeing the layers of time that haven't quite settled. I arrived at 10:45 in the night. The mansion loomed against the night sky like a tombstone. I pushed through the rusted gate, walked up the weed-choked driveway. The front door hung open, like it had been for years. Inside, the smell hit me first. Not decay, though there should have been rot. No, I smelled perfume, cigarette smoke, something sweet, like jalebi. I walked to the ground floor. My torchlight got through the darkness, eliminating decay, peeling wallpaper, broken furniture, rat droppings. But in the beam of light, I saw something else. Something that made my skin crawl. Footprints. Fresh footprints in the dust, leading up the stairs. Small footprints, like a woman's heels. And beside them, larger ones, men's shoes. Multiple set. All leading up, none leading down. At exactly 11 o'clock it started. The music swelled from nowhere. Avara Hoon on a crackling gramophone. But it wasn't coming from upstairs. It was coming from all around me. The walls themselves seemed to pulse with the sound. And then the voices, laughing, shouting, singing. A man's voice boomed. "Arey Rajesh, speech this speech." A woman giggled, the same high-pitched laugh that neighbors described. It went on too long, much too long, until it didn't sound like laughter anymore. I stood in the dark hallway, and I could feel them moving past me, brushing against me. When they touched me, the cold went so deep, I thought my bones would crack. A woman's dupatta grazed my shoulder. I spun around. Nothing there. But the dust on the floor, I watched it swirl as if someone in a long dress had just walked past. I followed sounds upstairs. Each step groaned under my weight. The music grew louder. I could hear individual conversations now. Did you hear about Mina's engagement? Vikram, you have had too much to drink. This cake looks wonderful, Rajesh. Wonderful. Normal party chatter. Except I could hear something underneath it. Something wrong. The voices had an echo, a hollowness, like they were being played through a tunnel. Second floor. The main drawing room door stood ajar. Light spilled from underneath, golden, warm, flickering like candlelight. I pushed it open. The room was empty. Dust-covered furniture, cobwebs, darkness. But I could see them. Not clearly, not like living people. Overlays, impressions, like double-exposed film. 7 people frozen in celebration. A man in the center, young, maybe 30, leaning over a cake, his cheeks puffed out to blow the candles. His friends around him, raising glasses, their mouths open mid-cheer. And they were stuck, repeating. He would lean forward, breathe in, lean back, lean forward, breathe in, lean back, over and over, never actually blowing the candles out. But here's what made my blood run cold. They were not alone. In the corner of the room, barely visible, I saw 3 modern figures. Young men, teenagers, wearing current clothes, baggy jeans, cricket jerseys. One held a beer bottle. Another held an old knife, a cake knife, ornate silver handle, caked with something dark. And he was moving it, slowly, drawing it across his own throat, over and over. His mouth was open in a silent scream. His eyes were wide with terror. But his hand kept moving the knife like a puppet on strings. The other 2 boys stood frozen, watching him. One was crying, tears streaming down his face. The other was laughing, the same high-pitched, too long laugh I had heard earlier. They were not ghosts from 1957. They were there, right now, trapped in the same loop as the birthday party. I ran forward, breaking through the spectral celebration. The cold hit me like a wall. The 7 party guests flickered, their heads turning toward me in unison, their movements jerky. Wrong. Stop! I shouted at the boy with the knife. He couldn't hear me. Or if he could, he couldn't obey. His hand kept moving, kept drawing the blade across his throat. No blood, just the motion, repeated eternally. I grabbed his wrist and fell through him. I hit the floor hard, my torch flying from my hand, spinning across the room. In this spinning beam of light, I saw them all clearly for just a moment. The 7 birthday guests standing over me, looking down. Their faces were wrong, lips too wide, eyes too dark, and they were all smiling. Rajesh Kapoor, the birthday boy, leaned down close to my face. I could smell it now. Not just cologne and jalebi. Underneath the sweet, sick smell of decay, of suffocation, of death. And he whispered the first words I'd heard clearly. Join us. It's such a good party. It never ends. The music was deafening now, the laughter maddening. I tried to stand, but hands, cold, impossibly strong, grabbed my arms, my legs pulling me down. I couldn't tell which were the 1957 ghosts and which were the modern boys. My torch beam found something in the corner, an old trunk, open. Inside I could see photographs, albums, party decorations scattered around. And standing over it, Clear as day was one of the teenage boys, the one who had been crying. He was staring at me. His mouth moved, forming words I couldn't hear over the music. Then the room plunged into darkness. The torch went out. In the match light, I saw. I said, wait! Can't you see I'm not finished? Sorry, where was I? The match. Yes, the match went out. I fumbled in my pocket for another match. My hands were shaking, not just from the cold, but from something else. A vibration in the air, like the whole room was humming at a frequency just below hearing. When I lit the second match, the room had changed. It was no longer empty. The furniture was new, clean. The cobwebs were gone. The gramophone in the corner was polished and gleaming, the record spinning. 7 people sat around a low table, their backs to me. They were having a party, and they were real, solid. I could hear them breathing. I was in 1957. One of them, a woman in a green sari with flowers in her hair, turned to look at me. She smiled, but her eyes were filmed over, milky, dead eyes in a living face. You came, she said. Her voice echoed, like she was speaking from the bottom of a well. We've been waiting. Rajesh said someone would come to witness. Witness what? I managed to ask. She gestured to the table, to the birthday cake in the center, to Rajesh Kapoor, who sat perfectly still, staring at the candles. The moment, the perfect moment, right before everything ended. We are keeping it alive. We are keeping us alive forever. Another man, Vikram I learned later, leaned forward. His skin had a blue tinge. It's wonderful here, Inspector. No pain, no loss. Just this. Just us. Just this one perfect night. You're dead, I said. The words came out strangled. All of you. You died 40 years ago. Rajesh finally moved. He turned his head toward me, and his neck made a grinding sound like rusted hinges. His smile was beatific. Dead? He said. How can we be dead? Look at us. We are celebrating. We are happy. We are. He stopped. His smile faltered. And for just a moment, I saw true awareness flash in his eyes. Terror, confusion, and then it was gone, buried beneath the serene smile again. We're alive, he finished. And now, so are they. He pointed behind me. I turned. The 3 teenage boys stood in the doorway. The one with the knife, the crying one, the laughing one. But they looked different now. Their eyes were filmed over too, milky, just like the others. The one with the knife, Rohit, though I didn't know his name yet, spoke in that same echoing voice. We just came to party. We found the gramophone, found the knife, and we said the words. His voice broke. We said happy birthday, and now we can't. We can't. He lifted the knife to his throat again, began the motion, and I understood. They had recreated the ritual unknowingly. They had accepted the invitation, and now they were part of the loop. Not dead, not alive, trapped in the space in between, celebrating forever. Don't touch that! That's not yours! And I need a moment. This part is difficult. Even now. The match burned my fingers. I dropped it. Darkness again. When I managed to light a third match, the room was empty again. Dust, cobwebs, decay. I could still hear them, fainter now, like they were in another room, another time. The music played on. I had to get out, had to research, had to understand what I was dealing with. I ran, God help me, I ran from that house like I'd never run before. Behind me, I heard laughter, that high pitched, too long laugh, and underneath it, someone crying. I spent 3 weeks in archives, old newspapers, police records, hospital reports. March 8th, 1957. 7 friends gathered in the Kapoor mansion for Rajesh's 30th birthday. Party started at 11 p.m. By 12:30, all 7 were dead. Carbon monoxide poisoning from a faulty kerosene heater in a closed room. But here's what the newspaper did not print, what I found in the medical examiner's sealed reports. They didn't die at 12:30. They died at 11:47. The party continued for 43 minutes after they were all clinically dead. The servants sleeping in the quarters heard the music, heard the laughter, heard the celebration, until it all stopped at 12:30. The carbon monoxide didn't knock them out. It slowly suffocated them while they remained conscious, while they celebrated, while they sang and laughed and cut the cake. They died happy. They died together. They died in what they thought was the perfect moment. and, and somehow, they decided that moment was too perfect to let go. Now I understood. This was not a haunting. It was a preservation, a pocket of time kept alive through sheer will. Or maybe through something else. Something that feeds on a repeated moment, on trapped time, on celebrations that never end. And those 3 boys had stumbled into it. They had added their energy to it. They had become part of the preservation. I went back. Of course I went back. I had to end it. I had to free them all. But I also had to do something else. Something I've never told anyone until this recording. I had to go back because part of me wanted to stay, to join them. Even after what I'd seen, the idea of one perfect moment frozen forever, never ending, never decaying. It was seductive. Especially for a man with 6 months to live. You! I see you there. I always see you there. Your story will come. But let me finish this one. It's important. It's important that people know what I almost did. Third night. I brought everything I needed. The case file from 1957, photographs of all 7 victims, and one more thing. Photographs of the 3 boys I had tracked down their families. Rohit Malhotra, Sameer Desai, and Karan. All 3 reported missing 2 weeks earlier. Last seen heading to explore the haunted mansion. The police had assumed they ran away, but I knew better. I entered the mansion at 10:30 p.m., gave myself time to prepare. I set up the candles in the drawing room, 7 of them, arranged in a circle. I placed the photographs in the center, all 10 faces, 7 from 1957, 3 from 1997. And at 10:55, I sat in the middle of the circle and waited. It started exactly at 11, but this time I was ready. The music swelled, the voices rose. The cold swept through the room, but I did not move. I kept my eyes on the photographs. Rajesh Kapoor, I said clearly. Meena Sinha, Amit Chawla, Priya Desai, Vikram Malhotra, Suresh Nair, Kavita Iyer. The music stuttered just for a moment. Rohit Malhotra, I continued. Sameer Desai, Karan Nair. The room blazed with light, candlelight, golden and warm and terrible. They were all there, all 10 of them, standing in a circle around me, looking down. The seven from 1957 still wore their party clothes, but now I could see the blue tinge to their skin, the sunken quality of their eyes. The three boys from 1997 looked even worse, caught between times, their bodies flickering, unstable. Your party is over, I said. It's been over for 40 years. Rajesh, you turned 30. Your friends came. It was beautiful. And then it ended, as all things must end. Rajesh stepped forward. The room grew colder, so cold that ice began forming on the windows. No, he said. His voice was layered, 7 voices speaking as one, and then 10. No, it doesn't end. It never ends. We won't let it end. We are happy here. We are together. You're dead. I stood up, facing him, facing them all. And you're keeping these boys from their lives, from their families, from their futures. Let them go. Mina, the woman with flowers in her hair, began to cry. Real tears streaming down her dead face. We are not dead. We can't be dead. If we are dead, then this ends. This perfect moment ends. We end. Yes, you end. As all things must end. The gramophone exploded. The record shattered. And in the sudden silence, I heard it. Underneath everything, a desperate, rattling breath. The sound of 7 people suffocating. The sound that had been playing on loop for 40 years, hidden beneath the music and laughter. They had been dying this whole time, over and over. The perfect moment wasn't the celebration. It was the death, the suffocation, the last gasps. And they trapped these boys in 2. Rohit, the boy with the knife, suddenly lunged forward. He grabbed my arm, his fingers icy and solid. His eyes cleared just for a moment. Real awareness, real terror. Help us, he whispered. Please, we are stuck. We are dying. We keep dying. Over and over. It hurts. God, it hurts so much. Make it stop. Make it. He was pulled back, yanked into the circle of the dead. His scream cut off abruptly. That's when I realized they were not keeping the moment alive out of love or happiness. They were keeping it alive because they were terrified. Terrified of what came next. Of the darkness. Of the end. And the house itself was feeding on that fear. On that trapped time. Growing fat on repeated deaths and eternal celebrations. I've had enough. I pulled out a match, held it up. You have a choice, I said. Let him go. Let the boys go. Let this moment finally, truly end. Or I burn these photographs, I burn your faces, I burn every trace that you were ever here. And you will have nothing, not even this. Rajesh looked at me, really looked at me. And for the first time I saw him. Not the ghost, not the loop, but the man he had been. Young, scared, desperate to hold on to something good before it slipped away forever. Will it hurt? He asked quietly. The ending. I thought about my diagnosis, about the 6 months I have left, about all the ways dying could hurt. I don't know, I admit it, but it can't hurt more than this. The circle broke. The 7 from 1957 stepped back. Their forms grew translucent, fading. Mina removed the flowers from her hair and let them fall. They turned to dust before hitting the ground. The 3 boys collapsed, solid, real, breathing, alive. Rajesh looked at me one last time. He smiled, a real smile this time, sad and grateful and tired. Thank you, he said. Thank you for remembering us. Thank you for letting us go. They faded, all seven of them. The golden light dimmed, the cold lifted, the house settled with a groan as if releasing a breath it had held for 40 years. I was alone in the dark with three unconscious boys and the guttering candles. I called for an ambulance, told them I had found three missing teenagers in an abandoned building, left before the questions could start. All three boys survived, physically at least. They were hospitalized for severe hypothermia and dehydration. They had been missing for 2 weeks, but they had no memory of that time, just gaps and nightmares. Rohit still has nightmares. He came to see me years later, like I said. Told me he dreams of a party that never ends, of laughing until his lungs give out, of dying and celebrating, and dying and celebrating. I told him some doors should never be opened. Some celebrations should be left in peace. But I also told him, you survived. You got out. Not everyone does. The Kapoor mansion still stands, empty now, truly empty. The municipality tried to demolish it twice, but both times the equipment failed. Maybe it's meant to stand as a memorial. Sometimes I drive past it late at night, and I swear, just for a moment, I can smell that old spice cologne and jalebi. But I never hear the music anymore. Never hear the laughter. They have moved on. I think so. Wherever the dead go, they went there together. You know what haunts me most about that case? It's not the ghosts. It's not the trapped boys. It's not even the moment when I almost struck that match and burned their photographs out of anger. It's that I understood them. The seven from 1957. The desire to hold on to one perfect moment forever. To never let it end. To never face what comes after. I'm dying. Stage 4 lung cancer. Terminal. 6 months, they said. Maybe less now. And sometimes, late at night when the pain is bad and the morphine is not enough, I think about that golden night, that eternal party, that one perfect moment, frozen forever. And I understand why they held on so tight. Yes, I know. You've been very patient. Your story is different, isn't it? You're not like them. You're not trapped in a moment. You're trapped in something else, something worse. But that's for another recording, another night. If you're listening to this, if you're young and stupid and thinking about breaking into an abandoned house for thrills, don't. Don't disturb what's resting. Don't invite what's waiting. Some parties were never meant to be attended by the living. And if you find yourself in a moment so perfect you never want it to end, let it end anyway. Because holding on too tight doesn't preserve the moment. It corrupts it, rots it from the inside, turns celebration into suffocation. Let the good moments pass. Let them become memories. Let them become stories. That's all they were ever meant to be. Believe me, this happened.